Few musical artists of the 20th century were so successful and so popular for as long as David Bowie was. Famous for his changing looks, evolving styles, and various personas, he continued to experiment all the way up until his death in 2016 at the age of 69. Bowie's career faltered somewhat in the late 80s and early 90s, but then he entered the new millennium as productive as ever, with critically lauded albums like 2002's Heathen and 2003's Reality. He also remained a major draw as a live act. But that all came to an end when he experienced chest pain during a concert in 2004 when he was performing in Prague during the European portion of a reality tour. He tried to continue, but he eventually left the stage and went to the hospital. Bowie's bandmates were shocked by the suddenness of his health issues. Guitarist Earl Slick, for one, said that he appeared rejuvenated and in good spirits as the tour commenced. And guitarist Jerry Leonard added in the TV documentary David Bowie: The Last 5 Years. There was a sense that David looked as young and as youthful as ever on that tour. It did seem like he had the gift from the gods, that he was never going to get old.
It was a little mysterious to everybody as to what it might be because it really did come out of the blue.
Bowie himself initially thought it was a trapped nerve, while medics in Prague failed to correctly diagnose the source of the chest pain. 3 days after that show, the singer and his band were in Schesel, Germany, when he collapsed shortly after coming off stage. It later emerged that he'd suffered 2 heart attacks while on stage, though he'd managed to push through the show with the aid of painkillers. He was taken in for emergency surgery for a blocked artery. He later said in a statement, "I'm so pissed off because the last 10 months of this tour have been so fantastic. Can't wait to be fully recovered and get back to work again. I tell you what though, I won't be writing a song about this one." Alas, this proved to be the moment that signaled the end of Bowie's touring career, as he maintained a low public profile for nearly a decade after. When he finally returned to the spotlight, he did so unexpectedly and entirely on his own terms. On his birthday in 2013, he released the mournful single Where Are We Now?, a gorgeously fragile ballad recalling memories of his years spent in Berlin in the late 1970s. The song heralded a new sense of mortality into his work that would remain into his final album, 2016's Black Star. Shortly after the heart attack that put an end to the reality tour, Bowie made a little-noticed appearance on a BBC radio show discussing his love of jazz and his desire to one day release a jazz album. It may have taken more than a decade to arrive, but Black Star was arguably that album. Many critics have interpreted it as a reckoning with death itself, which makes sense considering that Bowie died of liver cancer just 2 days after the album's release. And considering that he first conceptualized it around the time of his earlier health troubles, it's reasonable to consider that this meditation on death was informed by his first brush with it all those years ago.